Let's get sweaty.
Hey guys, welcome to another Shenmue Dojo video. Today's video I want to talk about the new Sega Chief Operating Officer and President Shuji Utsumi, and also the appointment, or reappointment rather, of Jürgen Post, who worked at Sega Europe and is now coming back in quite a high level capacity. Before I go into this video, I want to take a little note of the layoffs that are going on in the gaming industry at the moment before I sort of get into the topic. This is quite serious business. Now, as some of you would have seen, Sega recently sold off Relic Entertainment. They're also in the process of laying off in the European offices 240 people who have their jobs at risk. Now, the gaming industry clearly has an issue. Clearly, the current model isn't sustainable in any way, shape or form. But we must remember there are people at the centre of this. I hope every single one of them finds jobs. And I hope every single one of them come out of this the other end better for it in the long run. It's crap. It's shit. And I feel for each and every one of those people who are affected by this. We have had the pleasure of working with the guys at Sega Europe on and off over the last few years since James and I have been in charge. They have been nothing but brilliant, accommodating, and are bloody good at what they do. So I think Sega are idiots in terms of just letting people go. I know business has to be sustainable, but there are people in the middle of this, and I just wish the industry took more care of the people that are in it. So guys, if you're watching or anybody who's affected by this, thank you for everything you've done, and I really do hope things get better for you guys very, very soon. So that's the serious stuff. Let's move on now. So Shuji Utsumi, essentially who he is, I will give you a little bit of a rundown. So he started his career at Sony. He was very much involved in the establishment of what is now called Sony Computer Entertainment. You're going way back into the 90s now. This is insane. Worked on the launch of the PlayStation in the United States. I wonder if he was involved in that famous 299 speech, but I don't know. Then obviously moved over to Sega, where he assisted in the launch of the Dreamcast. Had a few other roles, was involved in Kingdom Hearts, for example, and then appointed Chief Strategy Officer at Sega, I think in May 2019, if my sources are correct, and has then started as Chief Operating Officer and President of Sega on the 2nd of April 2024. Basically, he has oversight, and from what I can understand, is of Sega America, Sega Europe, and Sega Japan. So it seems like they're going to be working a lot more closely together. In addition, Jürgen Post, who was president and CEO of Sega Europe, which is now Shuji Utsumi's role, he was in that position from 2012 to 2017, roughly, is coming back to the fold as well. It was very much thought that he was in charge of a period of sustained growth at Sega at the time, so I do wonder if they're sort of looking back for the ideas there. Obviously, I've talked about some of the gaming industry's model at the moment and how it's not sustainable, but this actually leads me on, I think, to the new era, new energy stuff, which Sega obviously announced at the Game Awards back in December. So Shuji Utsumi, and also for a lesser extent Jürgen Post, have essentially worked on Sega IP during sort of the heydays, almost more Shuji than Jürgen, I must admit. But Shuji and both Jürgen will be well aware of the legacy IP that Sega hold across a massive plethora of platforms, of games, whatever you want to call it. As I said, Jürgen had sort of recent successes with Sega. They had a really sort of exponential growth period under him. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of luck in that as well, but there was also a lot of good business done back then. Shenmue, HD, yeah, all of that. But by doing this, it seems like that Sega are doubling down on their legacy stuff. They're sort of going back to their roots a little bit. Obviously, this is sort of funded, as it's been said many times, by the success of the Sonic franchise and the Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise. But it seems, I'm sort of crossing fingers here, that Sega is stopping, or at least trying to stop, chasing the trends, either A, too late, or B, are hiding to nothing. So with Hyenas getting cancelled at over $70 million, the sort of the games of the service model, that seems to have been binned off at the moment. Whether this sort of super game idea leans into some of that games of service, I don't know. But pursuing solely a game as a service seems to be off the table at the moment, which can only be a good thing, because for every 10 of these that are released, you get one maybe as successful, with Helldivers 2 being the one at the moment. The rest of them just tend to sort of bottom out and lots of people get laid off, which is, again, crap. Then they also started chasing the costly mobile projects. I know they took over Rovio, but also I think they spent about $20 million of Sakura War Mobile and shut that thing down way back. So they've wasted money, for want of a better expression, on projects that clearly weren't successful. And it looks like they've sort of reset themselves and gone, right, let's lean back into our legacy IP, let's get the fans on board, and let's see what we can do from a business point of view that A, will make us money, but also satisfy the fans. Now, you're all asking me, and the main point of this video is, what does this mean for Shenmue? Well, the straight answer is, I don't bloody know, but there are two sort of sides to look at this, I guess. The first side is it could be a positive thing, as having somebody in charge from the Dreamcast era in Shuji Itsumi would understand the value and the impact that Shenmue brought at the time, would understand that actually Shenmue 1 did sell okay, despite the cost of obviously the development, and that's been well documented for years and years and years. And if you go through GDC, you can see the project started 3 times. You can see where the money went, essentially. Had it been developed now, it may well have been done cheaper and in a more streamlined way. So it could be positive in that sense. Jurgen Post was likely in position when Sega Europe gave the green light for the Shenmue 1 and 2 re-releases on the PlayStation, Xbox and PC, and would hopefully be aware at least of the relative success in terms of sales that were. He wasn't in position at the time, he'd left, but that it was relatively a sales success, debuted at number 2 in the United Kingdom and sold pretty well, and Sega were happy with it. So that's a positive. They may look at that and go, right, okay, we've got an IP here that can work, that actually with the right thought business model, we might be able to draw some money out of this and make the fans happy. The flip side of this, and this is more from the Japanese side, is there seems to be some sort of stigma with Shenmue, especially at Sega Japan. If you remember, Sega Europe were the ones that headed up the project for the re-releases. So they would have obviously had to get the green light from Japan, but Japan really sort of stepped away from the project. There seems to be, at some point in Sega somewhere, a bit of a reticence around Shenmue, for want of a better expression. Now, we know some people that worked on the project originally, and it was a long, hard project, are still there. So whether there's still that sort of part of it, where there's also the massive development costs, etc., and they're sort of almost scared to approach it again, I don't know. But that could be the flip side argument here, that actually it could be another nail in the coffin for Shenmue at Sega, at least. Obviously, we know WiseNet are looking for a publisher for Shenmue 4. Fingers crossed they get one. But this could work. It's a plus or a minus. I really don't know how this is going to shape out. I really don't know where this is going to go. But it's very, very clear that Sega are looking back to their legacy. The people they're getting involved and employing at the top have been involved in Sega with the heyday, etc. So I would hope that they at least give Shenmue a fair shout internally and look to find a way where they can maximise the market for Shenmue, but also make a conscious and good business decision. They can make a good quality game for the right budget. And that is key, and I keep saying it. I don't know where that line is. I don't know where that middle ground is, but there has to be a middle ground between creativity and what you want to do with Shenmue, but also the right market and the budget to allow that to happen. Fingers crossed. Anyway, guys, what do you think about these restructures at Sega? Could they be a good thing? Could they be a bad thing for Shenmue? Let me know in the comments below. Now, the last thing I need to do, guys, I do this every video, as you're probably aware by now, is I need to give a shout out to our members. We've had a couple of new ones drop in again, which is fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. For those of you who are new to the channel, for £2 a month, you can sign up and you get all the video content outside the podcast ahead of time. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. All the videos are released at set times anyway, so they're not locked behind any sort of paywall. All the money that we get from this goes to the site running costs, competition prizes, etc. And James and I are very, very grateful for those of you who have signed up, but also those of you who enjoy the content on the free basis as well. Thank you, all of you, for dropping in. But for the members, guys, I'm going to read your names out right now for everybody. So, starting from the top, BCDC Dude, thank you for signing up. Sam, Dominic Johnson, Samsay, Renners, Richard Cartledge, that's me, Carl, Terry, Stuart Peacock, Mark the Pulverizer, who won our monthly competition recently, Little Crypty Monster, Titch, Richard King, Sean Potter, Guppy Coy, Bruce Wayne 937, Survival Spheres, Peter Hoffland, Sean Don, Wandering Through Shenmue, Phantom River Stone, Bruce Wayne 911, Mike Franz, Manny Figueroa, Master Mo, Nick Hughes, Sean Hastings, Clunky Mage, and William Lovering. Thank you guys for being members and helping James and I run the website. Thank you, as I said earlier, guys, for all of you who are dropping in on the dojo's content. It is very, very much appreciated for every single one of you that drop in on this content. Don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all the relevant places. Hashtag Let's Get Shenmue 4 on the 4th of every month. And I will be back with a video in the not too distant future. But for now, guys, take care. Have a good one. All the best.